Hi guys, how you guys doing? I want to do a quick walk rant. This time, just a recap of what I feel about music theory and what I've learned recently about it. So let's just try that. Hope you guys enjoy it. So there seems to be two main types of music in Western tonal music. It seems like there's. It seems like. It seems to me like on the one end there's classical music, on the other end there's blues music, and I think they're both interesting. I like to cover again the differences as I see it, and of course there is jazz, which is more complex classical music. In other words, classical music amped up, more complex, and then there's country music, which is blues music dumbed down, more simple and dumb than blues music. But in the middle is classical and blues. I like to go over some of the differences and just while I'm here. So classical music uses mainly diatonic scales, 7-note scales. Blues music uses primarily pentatonic scales, 5-note scales. Classical music, you're either in major or you're in minor. In blues, you're in major and minor at the same time. Rarely are you in either one only. Music uses a lot of triads, 3-note chords. Blues music uses almost exclusively dominant 7th chords, which are 4-note scales. Rarely do you see a triad holding its own. Classical music uses straight rhythms. In other words, if you're subdividing a quarter note, you'll go 1 end, a 2 end, a 3 end, a 4 end, or if that's 16th notes. Eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's straight eighths, and first was straight 16ths. But in blues, you swing the rhythm. You use triplet feel, but you tie the first two triplets together to make a swing or feel where the first note of the set of eighth notes or whatever is twice as long as the second note. So you would have 1, le 2, le 3, le 4, le 1, le 2, le 3, le 4, le 1, le 2, le 3, le 4, le 1, le 2, le 3, le 4. So the first eighth note is twice as long as the second eighth note. So swing feel, as opposed to straight feel, where the 2 eighth notes are the same exact length, or the 16ths are all the same length. I guess you could have swung 16ths as long as you could swing it 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, 1, the 2, 1, the 3, the 1, the 3, something like that. Then I want to go into blues for a second. As far as what this theory that I've learned about blues, and I want to discuss a little thing about that. In blues music, as I've discussed it, theory that I've discussed, I mainly use the minor pentatonic scale as a basis, as a reference point. I think that's right. I think that's good, and I think that's logical because on guitar, first of all, one finger barring across all 1 fret makes a minor pentatonic scale based on the highest note or the lowest note becomes the key of the minor pentatonic that you're fretting all the strings on the same fret on. But and plus, it's just good to have a minor pentatonic as a reference point. But I want to go on just a little bit of a tangent to say that it could have been the major pentatonic, but I'm not sure it could have been, and I don't think history knows that. So what if in a different universe people use the major pentatonic for the blues instead of the minor pentatonic? Let's discuss that. Let's discuss it in the key of, let's say the key of A. So let's say, pretending that we use the major pentatonic. So I would have a major pentatonic scale, and that is A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, and A. Then I could use that as a home scale, and I could have the version of the Wiseman scale in this case would be an A major pentatonic with an added minor third, but emphasized often. So that the minor third is a C. So I would have A, B, C, C sharp, E, F sharp, A. And that would be my 6-note scale. It would be a major pentatonic with an added minor third, and I would call that, in this universe, I would call that the Wiseman scale, because that's also a scale that, I would just call it that. So now that would be the first scale. The second scale would be take the major with the flatted third and play the relative minor of that, and then play the scale based on. Oh wait. Yeah, that's right. That's correct. So, wait a minute. Did I do this right? Let me make sure I did this right. Did I do it right? Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, I did do it right. So now for the second scale, you take. You start with an A major pentatonic scale. That's A, B, C, E, F sharp, and A. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down to the relative minor and play that. Play it on that. So I would have an F sharp minor pentatonic scale, which would be F sharp, A, B, C sharp, C sharp, E, F sharp. F sharp minor pentatonic. And then what I would do in this case is I would put a major third over that instead of the major third on that F sharp minor pentatonic scale. So the major third in F sharp is A sharp. So the scale would then be F sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, E, F sharp. That's a weird scale. It would be literally an F sharp. It would be an F sharp Wiseman scale basically. But now, since we're basing everything in major pentatonic scales, I would use the major version of that, the relative major of that, which would be an A on the root A, and it would be an A major. It would be an A major pentatonic with an added flat second. How about that? Because if you're an A, you have you would have if you're an F sharp, you have A sharp as the minor third. So then when I go to the A major pentatonic scale, the note I would be adding would be actually A sharp, but since A is the root, I'll call it B flat. So now your weird scale, instead of the blues scale, in the major form, would be a major pentatonic with an added flat second. And then that would be in A, you have to call that that would have to have some name. In A, it would be A, B flat, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, A. So basically, you would be having a major pentatonic with an added flat 9 occurring there. Then now, the third possibility would be if you start with a minor pentatonic on the A, and then see what you have. You would have A minor pentatonic as A, C, D, E, G, A. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a major third on that on the A. So it'd be an A minor pentatonic with a major third, and that would be no, I'm not going to do that yet. Not yet. Let's try this. That was another way of doing this. Wait, let me think. Wait a second here. Yeah, that's right. I got it right. So A minor pentatonic with an added major third is what I would have. That would be, let me think about this. That's correct. So that would be A, C, C sharp, D, E, G, A. That's right. It would be an A minor pentatonic with an added major third. Then what I would do now is I would say, but I'm going to take the relative major form of that. So I would play that same scale, but starting on of all things, you would start it on the note C. On C, it'd be a C major pentatonic in this case, but it would be a C major pentatonic with a flat 9, a flat second, because when I added the major third to the A minor pentatonic, I got a C sharp, and in the key of C sharp is the flat second. So then my third scale I would end up getting would be a C major pentatonic with an added flat second. So the scale would then be C, D flat, D, E, A, B. Wait, let me do it again. It would be a C major pentatonic with an added flat second. So it'd be C, D flat, D, E, G, A, and C. So that would be your third scale that you would have. So if for some reason, if in a different universe, if we all use major pentatonics instead of minor pentatonics for blues music, the three main scales would be on the root A, if you're in the key of A blues, would be an A major pentatonic with a flat third. Second scale would be, believe it or not, would be an A major pentatonic with a flat second. And the third scale would be a C major pentatonic with a flat second, up a minor third from the A. Obviously, we don't do that in Western music. Obviously, we use the minor pentatonic as a basis for everything, and that's why we got the three 6-note scales that I have been discussing in my blues music theory videos, which have been the A Wiseman scale. If I'm in the key of A blues, it would be the A Wiseman scale, which is an A minor pentatonic scale with an added major third, and then also the A blues scale, which is an A minor pentatonic scale with an added flat fifth, and then of course the third thing is an F sharp blues scale, which is an F sharp minor pentatonic with an added flat fifth as well. So let's just stick with that. Let's use the minor pentatonic as a basis for Western blues music, not the major pentatonic. Because if we shift to that other thing I just did this lesson on, it's obtuse, it's weird, and the major pentatonic doesn't have an easy way to bar across the frets to make it in the key that you're in, like the minor pentatonic does. For instance, if you want A minor pentatonic, just put your finger on the fifth fret and bar all the strings and play them all in a row. That gives you an A minor pentatonic scale. You can't do that with major pentatonic, so I think we made the right choice in history to use the minor pentatonic as a basis for blues music.